Hi, my name is Mandy and welcome to my video about predictions of 2026 fashion trend. Specifically, I'm making this video because we are currently in December, which is literally the time for reflections and conclusions. And basically, I'm looking at the past year and what has worked and what that means for the coming year. This year I feel like it was all about like new things, but not only new, but the change in how explicit trends are comparing to, during the COVID time when there were a lot of micro trends, and now I feel like it's much more subtle. And also to bring the zodiac signs, this year specifically was the year of the snake, which was about change and taking off old skin and transforming oneself. And I feel like we saw that in our clothes as well. A lot of influencers have shifted in their aesthetic or their kind of vibe. Personally, I feel like I have matured, so a lot of the stuff that I did like in the past have now changed. Specifically looking at my Pinterest board, I love Pinterest, I die for Pinterest. So because of that, I do check on my past Pinterest board that I've archived a lot, and I see a lot of change. So number one I have is neon colors. At the end of this year, or currently, we are seeing a lot of color blocking. What I mean by that is a lot of neon colors, a lot of fun colors. I feel like as a society, we are going to play around with color more. Very satisfying for my eyes, I could say. We see this a lot in layering pieces. I know layering was like a big thing during I feel like 2017 to 2020, where you see a lot of like e-girls and e-boys, all those alternative kind of groups. And we saw a lot of loose t-shirts on tight long sleeves, but this time it is tight over tight. I think this also comes back to kind of like the ballet fashion, where a lot of like boleros you tie around your shirt over a leotard, something like that, but instead it's very similar silhouette, but you can still see just enough where you can see some color kind of contrasting. I see this in like actual pieces being sold online, like Mode Mischief with their contrast layered tee. I am currently in love with the specific one, which is brown and I think black polka dots. I think it's brown on the sleeve and a polka dot on top. I don't know, I'll bring up a specific one, but I talked about it in my wish list for Black Friday. Fabulous, but I feel like it's something that could be so easily recreated, so there's no point in buying it new and also attached to each other. We also see this with literally just long sleeves and t-shirts than just t-shirt over t-shirt. And then I think there was also hints of this in the past kind of popularity of singlets on top of singlets. That was also a big thing in, I feel like, the 2000s as well. So again, a lot of trends coming back. Number two is stripes. I think this idea comes from the previous popularity of polka dots. Fashion, or just people in general, tend to be drawn around different patterns. We see this with ribbons, with I feel like gang for a while, polka dots with the past year or two, and then I think it's just natural that we move on to stripes. And I feel like stripes in itself is such a timeless look, where you already see your parents probably wearing it, or your siblings, people around you, communities. So it's really not that big of a shift when you think about it. But again, I think people are kind of sick of seeing polka dots over and over again. They're just gonna move on to something else. I think I already see it throughout my Pinterest board with people, coming back to the color contrasting, a lot of different patterns also contrasting. So easy to work with, and it's probably something that you already have in your wardrobe, so you don't have to go out there and find it, which is the great thing about it. Next one is boho chic. Now this one has probably been up in the air for a while. I feel like this kinda is, stemming from the kind of indie look. In general, 2010s fashion is coming back, and for some people you might think that's a threat, but I would come back to that. Yes, so boho chic, which I'm talking about Isabella Marant's, those freaking sneaker heels that are everywhere, and that I wanted some for a while, but I was like, I'm never gonna pull that off, so I'm gonna back off. The Chloe Paddington with that huge lock, a lot of that vibe is coming back. So we're gonna see a lot of ponchos, a lot of tassels, a lot of fringes, a lot of tight booty shorts, and then paired with the most flouncy top that you have ever seen. Especially at festivals, I feel like that's a very big festival kind of vibe. So yeah, we're gonna see a lot of that coming into neighborhoods near you. You know, slightly kind of like Penny Lane, but also, what's her name? The Sophia Coppola, that kind of vibe, but more slutty. Obviously, because everything has to be slutty now, and I love that. Especially with ponchos, I feel like that's like a big thing. I've personally been looking for ponchos. I think in one of my videos, I literally saw a poncho, but it was hella stained, so I was like, no way I'm buying that. It was like brown, and I touched that. There's this beautiful poncho I saw on this creator called Susie Lola that I really want really badly. It's just something easy to just top on and just go about your day, and not ruin your outfit like a big ass coat. But again, ponchos come in many different sizes and shape, from knitted ones to cotton ones where you can just wrap around yourself, beaded ones even, so those ones you can wear to the beach, to summer festivals. I love ponchos, probably on my wish list of things to get for the coming year. Back to tassels and fringe, I feel like that's just always going to be here. I feel like they're pretty timeless. People love country, so why not? Next one, 2010s fashion. I said I was gonna come back, and I did. I'm good at keeping my promises. When I'm talking about 2010s fashion, I'm talking about a lot of accessory. Big emphasis on chunky bracelets, jewelry, like mustaches or those spiky studs. I feel like I've seen those around a bit. Twee fashion in itself with chunky bracelets. Oh my gosh, I'm like actually to die for chunky bracelets. I've seen the Chanel ones. I don't know if they're real or fake, but I've seen ones with Chanel symbols. I've seen ones with different colors that contrast. Again, coming back to my first one, I feel like people just love to play around with accessories these days, and a big thing is moving to more obvious, more heavy accessory. And I want some as well. I would actually die for some. I think they're so easy. The ones that are wooden or have beads on them are so pretty, and just something that could elevate your outfit so easily. Like you literally just go outside, you pop some on, and then you could be wearing a white t-shirt and some basic jeans, and if you just had the bracelet on, you're already top tier. Like it is literally so gorgeous. And then with jewelry in itself, again, people love playing with jewelry, and I think mustaches are just funny. I would love to see that come back. I can definitely see it coming back, especially with a lot of people being kind of ironic with their fashion. I'm literally expecting people to like tattoo mustaches on their hand again and like do that silly little photo. But also like people are also using those 2010s filter, bluish iPhone 6 kind of filter. So I think that also comes hand in hand with, you know, that kind of 2010s fashion. And then twee fashion. God, twee fashion, like you don't realize it, but it's everywhere. I think the biggest thing out of it is those damn pea coats. I have been a victim of this myself. I love a good pea coat that is just easy to wear, because again, very similar to chunky bracelets, they elevate your outfit so easily. You just pop it on, the same concept as those bracelets. Pop it on, leave your house, and I love it when it's as easy as that. Pea coats, like the ones where it's just like a baby pea coat with like 2 to 4 buttons, and then it's kind of like split at the end. I think that's just gorgeous. Gorgeous, sexy. You know, you can wear a shirt or not wear a shirt. Like it's honestly like a game of episode, your choice. And not only pea coats, but also just buttons in general. I feel like people love buttons around their clothes. I'm seeing a lot of buttons with jeans, with jackets. I've always loved buttons. For a period of time, I wanted to sew buttons onto my jeans, but I was too scared to commit because my jeans, particularly the ones that I wear constantly, are kind of, you know, too gorgeous to ruin, and I'm scared I would ruin them. So I've been avoiding that. But honestly, if I find a jean that is very similar to the ones I wear now, I might do that. But yeah, button earrings, button anything. Oh my god, button clips are actually the sexiest things ever. I want them so bad. Button everything. Anything that's very, I feel like, petite and quirky. And then from twee fashion, also flats. Now you're probably thinking, that's not twee fashion, but I'm talking about the ones that are very like klutzy, is that the right word? Like very quirky again. Something that you would see Jessica Day wear, from New Girls, or Taylor Swift in her teens and early 20s, those kind of flats. What a teacher would wear, your English teacher would wear. Those kind of flats were just very easy to pop on. Flats are just everywhere right now, especially those Margiela tabby flats. Those are so beautiful. I want to get my hands on them, but they are over 1K. There is no way I'm spending that money. Hats. Hats in general, I feel like have been a very big thing with falling in love and immersing themselves in accessories. People are really focusing on the details like badges and hair clips. You know, you see those ribbon badges that like everyone's wearing that they used to wear in just like horse competitions. I think explicitly of Clara's outfit. I don't know if this, I think it's her second performance that she wore it, but this Sandy Liang ribbon badge that she wore with a white dress, I think of that ribbon constantly, how it's long and just flowy. But back to hats, accessories everywhere, like this is not surprising. I think when I think of hats specifically, I think of like sailor hats, trapper hats, and for me personally, those raccoon hats. I think there was a Wes Anderson movie that had those hats, where it's kind of like a scavenger boy kind of hat with a little tail at the end. I think those are gorgeous and sexy again. It's very indie. It not only elevates your outfit, I feel like when you wear those hats, but also as this kind of quirk to it, but also bring more character to your look, which I am in love with. The only thing about them is that they are hella expensive. I would really recommend buying secondhand so that you cut down on the prices, and also probably better for the environment. But you can probably go onto like Facebook Marketplace and bargain. So I'm gonna try to get my hands on one. High necks. I feel like the next few things are kind of like obvious, like you already see it in a lot of fashion influences, especially if you go on like Pinterest, you'll probably see a lot of it. High necks, they're like everywhere now. Like there's like jackets, coats, anything that's like an outerwear with a high neck that's not tight, that's loose, probably like a zipper or a button that you can like fold it over and like fully secure. I feel like people love hiding their necks these days. Honestly, I don't know what you're hiding, but I also love the look, so I kind of get it. Another trend that I forgot to mention for 2026 was details on jackets. The surrounding years, especially with 2025, jackets and details on jackets have been very much coming into spotlight. Specifically, examples of the fireman clasp. A lot of indie brands have been utilizing that specific clasp to, I guess, accentuate their uniqueness, but obviously the more brands that use it, it becomes a full-blown trend. And then another example of this is those navy jackets or army jackets with those, I don't know what to call them, but like button details at the front, where there's like lines with buttons that are at the end of it. I'll put a picture up, it'll make sense, but those are definitely becoming a very big thing. So with jackets in general, I think people are just looking for more unique jackets. Next one is heels. Oh my gosh, heels have been everywhere. I feel like heels is never gonna die out. Like it started with men, women took over because they look better in heels, but heels have been everywhere. Like personally, I have been trying to wear heels. They are so hard to walk in. I actually need to practice. When I wore heels, I was literally clunking around. Like I nearly lost the shoe because I didn't think they were the right size, but they hurt my feet so bad. They gave me a blister. It was actually hell, but I would do it again because it looks sexy. When I saw myself in heels, I was like, okay, I can see why everyone's wearing heels. It's not even just kitten heels. It's like those heels that are like mid-size, not like between So-Kates and kitten heels. There's that middle ground where everyone's wearing now, where it's kind of classy, kind of like office heels that have very skinny, borderline stiletto like width heel. Wearing it with, again, a jean is so easy. It's kind of the same vibe as a flat where it's very classy. Wearing it over socks or wearing it over stockings, wearing it with a skirt, wearing it out in public, literally just going for grocery shopping is so high fashion. I just think everyone could benefit from a heel, and I'm literally now on a hunt for a heel. Gorgeous. I think it also has to do with the emphasis of, you know, femininity from like I keep saying coquette with the emphasis fashion genres like coquette to, I don't know, just like more indie feminine styles. You know, heels goes hand in hand with those looks. Next one, fur. This already comes with the hats, but just fur in general is just a big thing now. I feel like, especially with jackets, a lot of people are looking for fur trims on jackets, or even just like a whole fur jacket. I get it. it is a power move in itself. Like, furs are such easy things, again, to put on and to look put together. The only thing about them is that they are hella expensive. I feel like whenever I see one out in public, it is like 200 minimum, which is like, I get it, but dang, they're expensive. But yeah, just furs, they're kind of gorgeous. I feel like it's such a power move to have it. It's like wearing a mane, especially those ones with the trims instead of a whole coat. I feel like the whole coat was such a big fashion statement piece in the past year of 2025, and now we're moving on to more subtle looks, so the trim is definitely a more favorited look for a lot of people, especially people who thought, you know, the whole coat being fur is a bit too much. The trim is just a more subtle version of that. Lastly, see-through pieces. I've been testing the water with this and I can confirm it is so sexy to do that. Like, be a slut, like actually the best way where you look, again, I'm literally saying it like 50 times, but you look put together, but also, you know, have that party in the back where you see your bra. I just think it's just a fun look. I think people love to play around with silhouettes, and not only silhouettes but also fabric, and that comes with see-through fabric. I've seen it on Pinterest all over with people literally wearing it out and about on their summer vacation, or even the freemusicforyoutube polka dot skirt that's like fully see-through, and I see so many people literally clawing for it, and I get it and I love it. I just think the only thing personally is that I now need to shop for more undergarments that are actually nice and not just cheap, so that is a big thing I probably have to look for in the coming year. I think that's it. So I think a big thing with the trends that I've accumulated for 2026 is a lot of it is just being a bit more fun, but in a more subtle way. Definitely questionable. I feel like we should be going more full out, but I also get it. 2025 was probably a bit unstable, and I feel like people are sliding into a more steady look where it's still fun. Thank you for watching. If you guys have any trends, tell me so we can all be ahead together and form a community. Please comment and like, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.